Hey everybody, welcome to the Mess in the Middle with Jess. I'm a few minutes late because you gotta love technology. I went to get started and I had a low connection. So I had to move and I had this really nice background, and now I have my bananas, my dirty dishes over there. Talk about mess in the middle, right? Okay, so this is my very first episode and I'm really excited. I'm nervous. I said that yesterday, but I truly believe that we all have things to offer that will encourage and help other people. So I'm going to start, and I do have a few notes just to kind of keep myself on track because I tend to be long-winded and I don't want this to be really long. This is not going to be, 30-minute show. This is going to be like a 5 to 7 minute show. Okay. So, first episode. I am nervous, but I'm going with this, and I think it'll get easy as I go because this is extremely close to my heart, and I hope it's an encouragement to you. So let's talk about rejection, resilience, and falling up. Okay. Now, many of you know that Eric and I adopted. Okay. And this is where part of my story kind of begins for this show. So we adopted. And when we first decided that we were going to jump into this journey, we had no idea, no clue what was actually ahead of us. So yes, I had heard stories. I'd heard stories about loss. I had heard stories about heartbreak. And I thought, that's not going to be us. It's going to be smooth. We are just going to I'm going to have that baby girl in my arms in no time. I'm not dealing with those struggles. We've all done that, right? We're like, nope, I'm going to be the exception to the rule. So I was gung-ho. I started filling out paperwork left and right, and I just went for it. And I was so excited, right? Fast forward 2 years, okay? 2 years later, here I am, just having dealt with countless rejections. Rejection after rejection, so many that I can't even count. And we were hearing things like this. We were hearing, you're just not a good fit. I don't really know what that means, but I do know some of the specifics were, we already had children. Okay. So we weren't a good fit because we already had kids, or because we had boys, because we were wanting to adopt a girl. So we weren't a good fit because we had boys. We weren't a good fit because we were white. We weren't a good fit because we didn't make enough money. And I'm not even getting into just the flat out ignores. We had so many just ignore us, and that's a rejection. And I got to this point in this journey that I was so excited for when he jumped in, where I was totally crushed. I was worn out. I was worn down. I was defeated. And guess what happened? Another rejection. And it wasn't worse than the other ones. It wasn't harder than the other ones, but it came at me when I was at a point where I just couldn't anymore. And so I called Eric, and through my tears, I said, what's wrong with us? What's wrong with our family? Why is nobody picking us? And I'm sitting here wondering, because we're willing, we're able, we want to, and there are so many kids out there. Why is no one choosing us? What's wrong with us? And then I said two things that I hate that I said. I said, maybe we should just quit. And the next thing I said was, it's just not worth it. And I hate saying that out loud, because as I say those words, I'm admitting that I almost quit on our daughter. And through all of this, Eric was extremely encouraging. He let me kind of go through my thing on the phone, and he was really encouraging. And he said all the things I needed to hear, all the time we had put in, all the effort, all the prayers, all the people that were praying for us in this process. And that there was someone out there for us, and that we were the right one for her, and just to keep going and not to quit. Now, I'm not going to say when I got off the phone, I was like, yes, revived and ready to run, but it was enough for me to keep going. And sometimes that's all you need, is just enough, just a little bit of encouragement to keep going. So what I didn't know is that a few months after this conversation was when we were going to meet the lady that would eventually connect us with Bella. Now, what if I would have quit? What if I would have said, no, this is too hard and it's not worth it? You know, our story ended beautifully with our daughter. Here's the thing. When we get to the point where we've had enough, what is it? Like we are knocked down, we are beaten, we are bruised, we are broken. What is it then that helps some of us to make the decision to keep going and others to quit? Now, I think it is being resilient. I think being resilient and falling up, not quitting and falling down, falling up, because we're all going to fall, but what are you going to do after that? So I've got another story for you that kind of, I think, slides really nicely into this. I want to share a story with you about the author of a book I'm reading. I'm reading the book called The Happiness Advantage, and the author shares a story about how he was an undergrad student at Harvard. And if you were or are a college student, you need money, right? So he was always looking for ways to make money. And one of those things was whenever the psychology department was doing any kind of research project, if it was paid, he was there. And so this one particular project was called Helping the Elderly. And for 3 hours worth of work, he was going to get $20. So he's like, oh yeah, I'm totally there. So he shows up and they tell him they're doing this to help the elderly so they don't, like, they're going to fall, right? And we want them to help with their injury. We don't want their injuries to, like, you know, we just want to help them. So we're not going to ask the elderly to do it. We're going to ask you to do it. We're going to ask college students to fall. And so that's what he did. He walked down this hallway and either the floor would tilt or slide and he would fall. They had a cord tied to one of his legs and they would pull it and he would face plant. If he got to the end of the hall, he would have to throw himself to the ground and purposely fall if one of those three things before hadn't happened, which is crazy. But he did this, and he did it 120 times. And then the researchers came out and they said, well, we didn't put the film in the camera, so we're going to have to do this all over again. Do you want to keep going? And he wanted that $20, so he was like, yeah, let's go. Now, he did this for 3 hours. And he came out of that hallway and he was exhausted and he was bruised. And here is this very distinguished looking professor. And he says, no one's ever done it this long before. And this really has nothing to do with helping the elderly. It was actually about motivation and about resilience. And these are the two questions he asked. And I'm going to read them so I don't mess them up because they're so good. The study was to answer. They wanted to know how much pain and discomfort you could put people through before they gave up. And how much would a person withstand to get the reward that they set out to get? So in the author's story, he didn't just get his $20. He ended up getting $200 because he had outlasted everyone, because he had that reward he wanted at the end. Now, his $200, that's what he was running for, not me. My story is about my daughter. And my story is about Bella being bigger and better than any of the obstacles that tried to trip us up along the way. So I share this story because it is about picking yourself up. It's about picking yourself up when you fall down, when you get pushed down, because, I mean, let's be honest, it's not always of our own doing. And what are you going to do about it when you're exhausted from falling over and over and over again? What energy, where do you get the energy to pick yourself back up? So I say it is being resilient. Absolutely. Be resilient. Fall up. Remember, the reward at the end has to be bigger than the obstacles along the way. So just a reminder to you guys, the middle is messy. I would encourage you all to make sure that you take what you learn from it and encourage others with it. So if you found this encouraging, I would love for you to share it. If you think that it would bring value to other people, I want to encourage you guys. And I'll see you next time. Same day, same time. Thanks for watching, you guys.